Marky Billson here with the real reason Jarrett Guarantano remains the starting quarterback at the University of Tennessee and Harrison Bailey hasn't yet been called upon to start. Well, it's real easy. And it's not necessarily he gives us our best chance to win, which of course is what head coach Jeremy Pruitt likes to say. He's been saying that since 2018 when he got the job. He gives us our best chance to win, Jarrett Guarantano. Well, maybe he wasn't saying it when he was grabbing Guarantano's face mask. Maybe a year ago, what he was doing is proclaiming Guarantano as the starter and then yanking him after only a few games and treating the quarterback position like it was a yo-yo in 2019. But that was last year. This is this year. And here's Harrison Bailey, the five-star prospect, the guy that, I'll tell you why they want him. The fan base, that is. It's because right now it's gotten to be anybody but Guarantano. Now, I told you, those 3 years ago, Keller Chris should be the starting quarterback. I told you that Jarrett Guarantano really wasn't that impressive to me, a prospect. You know, even in his freshman year, always 1 yard short, and what was it? The quarter after quarter after quarter that Tennessee could not score a touchdown on offense. Yeah, part of that streak was under Quentin Darmandy. I give you that. But a lot of it was also under Jarrett Guarantano. It wasn't a striking change. And Butch Jones, who had coached Guarantano's father when they were both at Rutgers, those many years ago, he wasn't going to go down without giving his prized recruit a chance to play and save his career. Well, he couldn't. And that might have also shown you, how good is Guarantano ever really going to be? Now, the question is, how good will Harrison Bailey be? But right now, he hasn't been any better than Jarrett Guarantano. Let's face this fact. His passes have been wobbly. He's had 5 drives, and he's produced 1 score. All in garbage time. When the opposing defense is basically, you just want some yards and we'll just click the clock away and hey, we're up by enough points. You want to go down there. If it takes the time up, that's fine with us. We're getting the ball back anyway. The thing with Bailey is he is the favorite player on any team in a 5-game losing streak, 2-5 overall. He's the backup quarterback. But here's the situation. Vanderbilt, they've just fired Derek Mason. By the way, I cannot name for you a worse SEC team that I have ever seen than the contemporary Vanderbilt Commodores. Even the South Carolina Gamecocks in 1999 that went 0-11, that was Lou Holtz's first year, and he had some talent that would actually compete in a few games and also would go on to win a New Year's Bowl game the next year. Holtz basically used that season, and coaches sometimes do this, to basically say, look, we got to lose a lot at first to win in the future. That's what Holtz did. It wasn't a good team at all. No, I remember they lost 30-0 to Tennessee, but they also were learning the basics. I mean, Holtz had them in a traditional T formation for part of the game against Tennessee. He was trying to teach them the basics, even if it did mean some initial losses up front. Derek Mason has been the Vanderbilt coach for years. And, where's the program now? It's not in better shape than it was when James Franklin left, and James Franklin left Vanderbilt in shambles. This is the worst. I mean, they're not even competitive in any games, Vanderbilt. And that's eventually who Tennessee will play, not next, but at the end of the season. And it gives you to start to think, Tennessee, no matter who they play at quarterback, be it Guarantano, be it Bailey, be it J.T. Shroud, be it Brian Maurer, you know what? They're going to go 3-7. They fall out of bed. Even as bad as Tennessee has been, they're twice as good as Vanderbilt. They'll beat the Commodores. But also, they'll lose to Florida. They always do. They'll lose to Texas A&M. Aggies are on the cusp of a college football playoff this season, a playoff berth this season, I should say. Those are 2 L's, no matter who they play on their current roster at quarterback. Bailey, Guarantano. Well, why don't you let Bailey play and get his feet wet? Well, I'll tell you why. You do that you in effect make Bailey the heir apparent to the quarterback position in 2021. What's wrong with that? We don't want Guarantano anymore. It hurts the Vols' depth. Look, Brian Maurer, JT Shrout, last year during an 8-5 campaign, they both started games before injuries or what have you gave the job back to Guarantano. Okay, you start Bailey in any of these 3 games, remainder of the season, and Shrout and Maurer now know where they stand. They haven't gotten much playing time this season, and they know they're not going to be the starting quarterback in 2021. But you don't play Bailey. You stick with Guarantano, and then maybe, just maybe, they think, I've started games, Bailey hasn't, and you know what? Maybe I'll be the starting quarterback of Tennessee in 2021. Realistically, it's going to be Bailey. Bailey's a high-regarded prospect. I mean, the 5-star prospect. I don't put a whole lot of stock into recruiting rankings, but coaches do, because if they can't get their 5-star prospect to give them great wealth, then how are they going to do it with their 3-star prospects? But if you make Bailey the starter right now, then Maurer and Shrout will probably transfer away. Why wouldn't they? Shrout's from California. He's not from Tennessee. It's a long way out of his traditional comfort zone to be a backup quarterback for a football program that really isn't all that good anymore. And then you have the case of Maurer, whose depression was so overwhelming after a season in which he was a part-time starter for the Volunteers that he actually contemplated suicide. Now, I, after that, have become a Brian Maurer fan, don't get me wrong, but maybe after such an experience, a new change of scenery and some honesty about where he really stands as the Vols quarterback would be the best thing for Brian Maurer, who may have a fantastic college football career ahead of him. Who knows? Hopefully he does. That being said, it's going to be Bailey's team in 2021. But if Maurer and Shrout transfer away, then guess what? There are no backups to Bailey in 2021. You've got a couple of walk-ons and an incoming freshman, assuming he keeps his commitment, Caden Salter. That's all you got. And that's not a whole lot of depth at quarterback for 2021 for the Tennessee Volunteers. So you see why Guarantano gives the Vols the best chance to win? Right now, any quarterback you throw out there, they're going to go 3-7. Gonna lose to Florida, gonna lose to A&M, gonna beat Vanderbilt. You can put the running back at quarterback. It doesn't matter. But for the future, it's kind of sleazy, but it's best to keep Shrout and Maurer in the dark so that they don't transfer away, and you can have for the next 2 years, or at least in 2021, a somewhat solid backup quarterback. Folks, I'm Marky Billson. I always tell it like it is with the Tennessee Volunteers and like the overwhelming amount of fanboys that are in the East Tennessee media. So, if you like what I have to say, or even if you don't, hit the like button on YouTube or on Facebook, and follow me on YouTube. I've got my own, Marky Billson is the name. Also, follow me on Medium. You'll be able to read my columns there and the archives as well from my old show, as well as Marky's monologue that began my old sports talk show. Hopefully that will be revived very shortly here in East Tennessee. But regardless, this is the second chapter of it. It's watch it when you want, listen when you want, be informed when you want. So the reason why Guarantano stays the starting quarterback of the Vols, you got it. It's to basically keep Shrout and Maurer in the dark on where they stand so that there's some depth for next year. No one ever said that college football was completely ethical. Folks, I'm Marky Billson. Hit the like button, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Medium, and until next time, so long, everyone.